Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. I'm so excited to be here with you for today's. Let me know where you are watching this from and where you're currently at in your creator journey. Same at the gym on my phone. If you can hear the noise, please mute me. No, you are good. We actually can't hear anyone, but you can hear me, hopefully. All right, so let's get started. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can become a creator cash magnet. So basically, what can you do right now that can help you attract more brands to contact you through email for sponsorships, for affiliate marketing, if you do UGC, whatever it is for the collaboration. These tips are definitely going to help. So we have a mix of basically basics, because I always feel if you don't start with the basics, if you don't go back to the basics every once in a while, it's going to be really hard for you to attract those brands there, because the basics are the foundation. And then, of course, those are things that you are going to evolve into a bigger strategy that's going to fit your specific business. Hi, Dave. How are you? And then, of course, we also have some other tips, and I have some examples. One thing I really like to do is we've all seen the huge examples of creators that are successful in these departments, right? We know the Mr. Beast, we know all of them. But I have found, and a lot of them are inside of our community, smaller creators that are under 100,000 who are just crushing it with today's tips, and they are landing consistent brand deals. And no, they're not $100 or free exchange. We're talking $1,800 brand deals or more. And one of them even has like every single video is sponsored. So if that is your dream, these can definitely help you achieve that. So let's go ahead and get these slides up for you guys. And then if you are watching on YouTube, hello. We are trying to get over there into the comment section. Right now, I am talking to our live community inside of Social Blue Book, which is very fun. And we get to communicate all the time, every day. So if you guys have any type of questions when it comes to sponsorships or just in general, just like being a content creator, that is definitely the place to go. All right, so now that our screen is sharing, let's go through these. And if you have any questions while I'm in this, I'm not ignoring you. Sometimes I can't see the comment sections when I'm on the slides. But go ahead and drop them in the comments and we can definitely get to those questions for you. All right, so today we're going to spend about 30 minutes together talking about how to attract brands and land more brand deals. So we're going to talk about understanding the industry. So what is influencer marketing as a whole? Getting brand ready, embracing your personal spark. We'll have a Q&A, a conclusion for you guys, and your next steps on what to do. I'm all about taking action. So if you're sitting here today or you're watching the replay and you're taking notes, don't just leave them in your notebook. I've done that so many times. Make sure to take those notes and actually apply them to your business so you can see results. But first, let's go over understanding the industry. So this is a gold mine of influencer marketing. So basically imagine, and we probably know this, right? Everybody's walking through, everyone's glued to their phone now. We're all scrolling. As soon as you wake up, I know I'm guilty of it sometimes, even though I try not to, is grab my phone and check my messages, check emails, and check social media. Like those are the top three things, right? It's how we stay connected. But for brands, it's really how they're able to get out front, because nobody is really watching TV anymore, right? People are streaming, they're watching YouTube more, they're watching social media more. And not just that, influencer marketing as a whole has become very beneficial and powerful for brands, because you as a creator or influencer have really built your platform around an audience who trusts what you say. And that is bigger than watching a commercial with celebrities or with random people we don't know. So you're basically recommending things to your best friend, and that's how brands see it. So this is going to be very powerful for you, because influencer marketing is all about brands partnering with creators, which is you, to tap into that engaged audience to promote their products and services. And it works because that engaged audience is a niched audience. So just like you have a niche, you have a target audience that you're trying to connect with through every single piece of content. A brand also has a target market. So these are the people they're trying to sell to whenever they come up with a new product or service from their business. So think of it like this. Once they have a product or service, you are going to be the person that promotes that product or service. And this has to be done through amazing content that your audience loves. If your audience is not resonating with your content right now, you're seeing low engagement, I would really look at who your audience is and what is it that they really enjoy. What do they connect with? One of the biggest mistakes I see is creators will partner with brands because the creator wants something. So it's like, oh, I want a new couch, so I'm going to partner with that brand. I don't know if my audience wants one or if it's in the market for one or if it's in the budget for them. I don't care. I like it. I'm going to do this. It's not going to be very profitable, no matter how amazing your content is, because your audience didn't love it because they don't resonate with it or it doesn't apply to them. So you definitely want to make sure it's relatable to your audience in all aspects. Even budget counts so much. Brands will see your influence and potential to connect with their target market, which we just talked about. That is your target audience. So you definitely want to make sure that your target audience and their target market are similar or aligned. So this way you are sharing a product or service that is designed for that specific person. And then once they go over your stuff, right, you've attracted them, you've made awesome content. They're like, hey, we can use them in our next campaign. They'll probably reach out to you to collaborate. This is done either through DM, but I prefer email. It's just more professional that way. So if they do DM you, make sure to send them that email address that you have. And this way you can keep the conversation in one area and you don't have to scroll back and forth through social media. Once you have everything agreed upon, you're going to create that sponsored content that showcases our products in an authentic way. This is so important. So try not to get scripts from brands. If you can, try to get talking points. This way you can develop your own script around the features or what they want you to share, but it's still your own genuine voice. And a lot of times I'll just send that script to the brand to approve. Some brands ask for it, some don't. This way the script is approved and they know what I'm going to say. So when I send them my content for approval, I don't have to worry about rewriting it all over again. And most likely I'm not going to have to do any re-edits and it's going to go a lot smoother. And then of course, this helps the brand get exposure. You get paid and your audience gets to find something new that they're going to enjoy and love or something that's going to help them out in their life. So why are brands obsessed with influencer marketing? The number one thing is because it works. And of course, of all the other things that we've already told you about how it helps them with their products and their services for selling them, for brand awareness, for getting more leads, whatever it is they're trying to do, or even create new assets. So this is going to help them again with increased brand awareness. So you put them in front of a highly targeted audience who already trusts you. And this is going to be a major shortcut for the brand to get that brand recognition. When was the last time you walked into the store and you purchased something not knowing what that brand was when they had multiple options, right? And it could be something as big as a new TV, right? If it's a new brand that you don't know, most likely you're not going to purchase it because you don't know anything about this brand and you're like, I'm not going to waste my money. To laundry detergent, people are super picky, right? We all have our favorite laundry detergent. So you definitely want to make sure that it is going to help the brand get recognition and it's something, again, your audience is going to enjoy. Benefits for the brand, again, it's going to boost their sales. Once you show your targeted audience something that they love, that they can't get enough of, that they have to purchase or they have to take part of, if it's downloading the app, if it's just signing up for the website, they're going to be more likely to purchase from this brand because it's recommended by you, which is someone they trust. Again, this is going to be you recommending something to like a best friend versus just some random stranger coming up to you on the street and telling you about this amazing ice cream. And you're like, cool, I'll check it out, right? But we're most likely aren't going to check it out. But if our friend tells us that, we're definitely going to see where that ice cream place is at. And then, of course, you can turn their audience into paying customers for the brand. So this is going to be huge, even if they don't purchase right away. Again, even just clicking over to their website is going to help out the brand a lot. And this, of course, helps with increased credibility. When you partner with a brand, and I think this is very important for you guys to hear, if you partner with a brand, you are basically putting your stamp of approval on that brand and on their products and on their services. So again, this is very important that when you do partner with a brand, it's something that you like back 100%, because if something goes wrong, and we've seen it a lot, then it like happens to the brand, right? And you're thinking, oh, it's just on the brand. No, it comes back to creators as well. We've seen a ton of huge creators with millions of subscribers lose audience because the company they partnered with happened to like fall apart, or it was a scam, or it just wasn't up to par, and the creator was backing that, so that falls back on the creator as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you're testing out products, or that you've already like used this product every single day. That's the best way to do it. So this way, hey, when I say this is a good product, it's a good product, and I'm not just taking a guess, because I'm not partnering with just anyone. I'm very selective of who I partner with. All right. And then this is also going to help you with engagement explosion for both you and the brand. So I know a lot of like creators, especially when you're new, there's this whole thing about like selling out. You're not selling out if you do it correctly. And a lot of these things is going to help you attract more brands, because they know you're very selective on who you work with, right? So you're not just working with anyone, which is going to give you more power. It's going to give you more trust with your audience. It's going to increase your engagement, because you're not going to see a huge drop, because again, your audience doesn't feel like, oh, here we go, just another sponsored video or just another ad placement, right? They're not annoyed. They're like, oh my God, they're recommending something new. I have to see it. For example, I don't know if you guys watch T-Pain's live streams, but I swear to you, he does these Temu live streams, and there was things that I saw on Temu and I was like, I don't know how it is. But when I saw him open the same thing I was looking at, I definitely bought it. So that's where it comes to the power of partnering with the right brands, knowing who your audience is, and just having that credibility. So a really good creator example is going to be Ryan from This Smart House. He was one of our students from our course that we took, the Brand Deal Accelerator. And this really helped him when it came to like, he went from affiliate marketing or inconsistent brand deals to literally at one point, every single one of his videos was sponsored. And his audience didn't mind it, didn't drop his engagement. If you look at his videos and you go to his channel, you'll see there's consistent views on all of his videos. And just first look, you wouldn't even know which ones are sponsored. Some creators, if you go to their channel, you'll see like a huge video with a drop on there and you're like, oh, that's probably sponsored. This is not one of those channels. And it's because he applies all of these basics that some of us forget, or we're like, we don't need those. And it really helps him create that increased brand awareness for brands, consistent income for himself, and just overall growth and trust with his audience. Let's see. Any questions so far? Let's see. I think we're good here. All right. Making sure we're good. All right. So after you have that, you want to make sure you like understanding what the influencer marketing industry is and how it helps brands, how it helps you. The next thing you want to do is get brand ready. So number one is knowing your niche. And again, we're going to go to the basics, guys. So brands need that perfect for creator for every campaign. And the same brand may say no to you for one campaign and say yes to you on the next campaign. It literally comes down to they have a very specific goal, which are like KPI goals or key performance indicators that they're trying to reach. And they need a creator who's going to help them reach that goal. And so depending on what the product or service is, especially for a company who sells like multiple things, they're going to need like a specific checklist of, okay, here's our target audience. This is the problem it solves. This creator is going to be great at expressing that. And it could be as simple as like your insights. They need an audience who's like 50% in the US. So all of these things will become harder to really target if you don't have your niche, because your audience is going to be all over the place. And when you give them your insights, they're going to be like, we don't really know who we're going to market here. Even though you have 10,000 subscribers, only 300 of your audience is really who we need. So they're looking for that consistency with creators, and a niche is really going to help with that. And then, of course, when it comes to finding your niche, it's like staking your claim in a creator's gold mine. So if you're a fashion guru, if you're a tech whiz, if you're a travel adventurer, all of these are what's going to define you as a creator and your content. So what topics you talk about, what is a general like theme of your content. Now, this does not mean you have to talk about one thing all the time, right? So if you are a travel adventurer, you don't have to only talk about the cheapest flights out there. But it does have to go around traveling somehow. So if it's traveling vlogs, if you're doing tips for traveling, whatever it is, you can have a mix of topics as long as it falls within that umbrella or that overall niche theme that's on your channel or on your platforms. Something else that helps you is what are you really passionate about? I know you probably heard the question is what is something you can talk about for at least an hour without any type of preparation? If you're wondering what my thing is, it's this, which is why I'm still doing it today. So what is that thing that you're passionate about? And then how can you make it unique? So something I did when I started my first channels, I really thought about, actually, no, something I did was all the wrong things. It was all the mistakes. But once I found my footing, I really started to think about who was my audience. And I got as deep as like, what do they like? Where do they shop? What books are they reading? Like I wanted to know everything about my audience. And then once I had that, I really was able to redefine my niche. So you'll have an overall niche, which can be tech, right? And then you can have that subcategory that makes you unique. So maybe you are just doing retro tech and gaming. Something that really like makes it a little bit smaller, it really targets you down. And this is going to help brands too. And of course, you don't have to stay that small. It really helps with growth. Once you start to see growth, you can definitely add in more topics and then you can expand your niche out. Without it feeling all over the place or confusing to your audience, which is still going to keep that target market for the brand. And then remember, again, a niche does not have to be super, super narrow. So you don't only have to talk about pink unicorns if you can find them. But having a clear focus on what you want to talk about can help you attract those brands. So just talking about pink unicorns may be too super narrow a niche for you, but maybe talking about mythical creatures, right, on your channel, that widens it up. You can talk about a lot more, and then that's easier for a brand to also market with. All right, then the next thing, this is the most important, and this is honestly when it comes to pitching, something I personally focus on is I don't talk about anymore all of my accomplishments, achievements, where I'm at, how many like subscribers I have. I really started talking about who my audience was and why they were the perfect fit for the brand, right? And of course, we're attracting the brand here. So once you have that target audience, the brand is naturally going to fall into that niche and that algorithm. Because sometimes brands will just send their social media team to scour the internet and say, hey, we're coming up with a new campaign. We need creators in this niche. Can you go find people? And so they're going to look on social media. So as long as you have your social media accounts with these basics and with these attractions, it's going to allow their social media team to say, hey, we want this person and put you in the pile. So that when they email creators to work with, you're definitely going to be one of them. But this is who your ideal audience is. And if you don't do this, you may find yourself burnt out more often. You may find yourself not working with brands or having inconsistent income. So you definitely want to see like, who am I creating the content for? And again, you want to be specific, right? So you can like start wide, be like, I'm creating my content just for men or for women specifically, or a mixture of both. And then I'm creating it for married men. And then I'm creating it for married men over 40 in the US. Like, who is that audience and how much can you define them? Because this is going to help you not only create content that helps attract that audience and brands, but it's going to be easier again to pitch your audience to the brand because you know everything about them. And the more you know about the audience, the better it is that you can tailor your content and track those brands to resonate with them. So again, what is it about your audience that really connects with that brand? That's what you want to tell them. And these are things that you can also post in like your bio, that like kind of your about me section, something that really says like, hey, this is who I'm attracting. So when a brand goes to your accounts, they can see and read all of that and they'll know too. Now, once you have your niche and your audience, you definitely want to look at building a brand identity. So this is going to be your unique voice and what sets you apart. So it's more than just the color scheme of your content. It's more than just what font you use or what consistent element or pattern that you have. It really goes with how you speak to your audience, how you show up every day. What is your tone? Are you stern? Are you funny? Are you angry? Are you always happy and excited? Are you sad? What is it that makes you unique? That your audience loves. And this is definitely going to attract people who are very similar to you. It's like going out and attracting new friends, right? So you definitely want to show your authentic, true, unique self so you attract the right friends to your group. And then also helping with the visual style, your content tone, and overall messaging does keep things consistent. And it helps the brand really see what you can do and what your style is. Some brands will definitely look at creators to make sure that they match a similar style, because they're going to most likely ask you to repurpose your content. So if they have someone who is authentic and unique and they go down and it's very consistent with your tone, then they know, okay, this creator is very similar to us. So it's going to be easier to repurpose content. Make sure you get usage rights, which is going to increase your project and how much you're going to make for that deal, because usage rights is something that the brand will pay for. So these are just things to think about when you are staying consistent with, again, your whole brand, not just visually, but like how you show up. And then, of course, you want to put all of these into a portfolio because this is what shows brands what you can do for them, what they can expect. So are you really good at converting? Are you really good at getting people to click on those links? Are you really good with affiliate sales? And can you show that in your data with your conversion or what your sell rate is? What can you show the brand for social proof that's going to help them want to send you that email? And then again, having a strong portfolio showcases your best work is essential, but it does not mean just your media kit. The first portfolio the brand is going to see is going to be your social media platforms. So if you have a YouTube channel, make sure that your thumbnails look really good, your titles look really good. It's going to keep those views consistent and it's going to have an attractive profile overall, which again, when these brands are searching social media for new creators to work with, having that attractive like YouTube channel or Instagram or TikTok is going to be one of the reasons why they're going to want to email you. And again, this all happens before you even send your media kit out, although you can always have your media kit in your link. So if you don't have that yet, like your link in bio, I definitely would suggest it. Just make sure not to put rates on there first. Having like a menu of flat fee pricing can actually be a disservice to yourself. So you definitely want to just like show them your insights. It could be on one page. And then once you have that email conversation, you know the scope of work, then you can go into pricing for the project. And then include content that's relevant to your niche, highlights your creativity, has really good storytelling ability, and has high engagement with your audience. This is definitely going to help you out. Something else you want to do too when it comes to, especially if you have a digital media kit, is showcase past work experience. So basically your like portfolio or your media kit, it's going to be like your creator resume. So if you go to a job and you hand them over your resume, that's basically what you're doing for being a content creator with your media kit. So you want to have past work experience on there so they can get an idea of who you've worked with to make sure it's consistent. Because again, they have no other way of telling who your audience is or if it's going to work out if they don't see it visually. So if you're able to show them not only in just like, hey, here's content I made for my audience, but here's content I made for a campaign for this brand that's similar to you that was successful, then they're most likely going to say yes, even if you're a smaller creator. And again, all of this can be summed up in your media kit with your key demographics, your audience reach, your past work experience. You could do your about me, and you want to make sure when you do have content. So if you have photos like this one, and it goes to like it's on your Instagram account, make it clickable so that the brand can click over and see it, just in case. And I know I said earlier like brands will search your profiles first, but sometimes there's multiple people on a team, so you definitely want to just make it easier. If your media kit gets passed to somebody else on the team, they can easily just click and see your profiles because they may not have seen it the first time. And then, of course, just stay social media savvy. So your presence is the storefront in the market, influencer marketplace. So basically, you guys are the new commercials, right? You're the new when we would watch football on Sundays and commercials would happen. That is what's happening now, except for people aren't sitting around just watching TV all the time. They are scrolling on social media, and it's easier because everything is just designed for a cell phone, and we have cell phones on us 24/7. So it is basically like this 24/7 hack that brands have where they can access their target market and never have to stop selling. But again, with this, right, and with that responsibility and knowing that, hey, I'm backing this brand 100%, you want to be very selective of who you work with. You want to regularly create high quality content. And again, this is very important for creators who are doing UGC, not doing UGC. Anytime you want to work with a brand, or you even feel like, hey, I want to set myself up for success to be able to have that option in the future, really think about every time I post something on social media, it is another piece of work that I'm showing brands that I do. So if that piece of work isn't great, right, it's low quality, and I'm not just talking about, even though this helps, visual or anything else, but really just the overall concept and quality and how it resonates with your audience, it's going to be hard to sell that to the brands or attract the brands to want to email you. So you definitely want to think about overall quality, again, not just the visual quality. And then, of course, build a strong social media following. This demonstrates your reach and potential to brands. And in order to do that, if you feel stuck, if you feel like your engagement's low, you're not getting any views, you're not getting any comments, really think about when was the last time you went on social media and you were actually social. I know as a content creator myself, I find myself just obsessed with like, okay, where am I at? Am I scheduled? Is my content made? Like you're constantly in this hamster wheel of like content creation that we forget to slow down sometimes and just be social. So definitely spend time like reaching out. Don't wait for your audience to reach out to you. Like reach out to your audience. Even if you have to go back to like old posts and just check in on them and see how they're doing. Make sure you're sending DMs, you're using and utilizing all of the features that you have across social media. You're connecting with them in some way. If you haven't done so, get like an email newsletter or something that you can own, like a website, so you're not just reliant on social media. But this can really help you to build that stronger connection with your audience, because the deeper level and the more things that audience member signs up for or watches you on or keeps track of you, the deeper that relationship is. And they're going to be a part of your core audience that's going to really help you attract those brand deals. So really good examples of who can do this is Beth and Court. And if you're in our community, you've heard me talk about them a lot. But they have done an amazing job just building their platforms in the most authentic way possible, to where their audience is so strong. I don't even think my audience would do this for me. Their Instagram account was taken down. They had issues. They couldn't log in. Luckily, they had an email newsletter, and they were able to like communicate with their audience. Their audience contacted Instagram, and they were able to get their accounts back. So if you're wondering how strong you want your audience, you want to build a strong audience like this. Because of this, they have been able to have consistent income in their business while traveling. So they like travel all the time. They're RV lifestyle creators. So it's not like they're, stationary and they're in a home. So they're able to travel the world, work with brands that they love, and build their platform doing it. And a big reason for them is, I think if you go to their accounts, you'll see it too. They have a really huge, unique spark to them. Everything about them, their story, it's just very unique. And they're able to really harness that. They don't like shy away from it. They don't like worry about what are people going to think. They just tell their story, and they know they're just connecting with their audience, because that's like their most important thing. So again, we don't want to be a cookie cutter creator, right? One thing I hate is when I watch a brand, and it happens to all of us when we're like scrolling, it doesn't matter what platform, but we see the same style of reel, the same music, the same trend, the same dance, the ads are all the same, right? And so you start to just kind of blank out, to where when you see an ad, you're just like, I'm not paying attention to any of this. And it's not that it's the product's bad. It's just we've seen this ad from 10 different creators all in the same day, because that's basically what happens. The brand will contact multiple creators. They give them all publishing dates, and then they say go. And so you have a ton of creators in the same niche, which a lot of us follow multiple creators in the same niche, posting the exact same way, and it gets boring. So brands love when creators come with fresh, unique ideas and can mix it up, because that is going to really stand out when everyone is doing the same style and format, right? So that piece that stands out because it's different is going to help the brand reach those goals more, and it's going to give you more credibility. So never shy away or feel like I have to do it this way or how did they do it. Just think about how would you do it and like what would your audience like. And again, we all have this special way of expressing ourselves, and it doesn't have to be like excitement. We all know the YouTuber voice or the creator voice, right? We all know the dances. You don't have to dance. Brands don't require you to do that when it comes to like partnering with them. But it really comes down to like your writing, your storytelling, your on-camera presence. I know someone who wears like the same blazer, everything that's kind of become their thing, right? What they're known for. I know people who are singers who incorporate little jingles. So that's their unique way of doing things for ads, right? So what is your unique way and how can you be different? And this doesn't have to be an overnight thing. You don't have to like come up with a creative idea tomorrow before you work with a brand. But as you create and attract more brands and start to work with more, really think about how can I make this one even more unique and special and different just for them. And this comes to experimenting and finding your flow. And honestly, a lot of us will get very like hesitant because we can't do anything because all of our stats are green, right? Analytics paralysis. Like you don't want to do anything. What if they don't like my next piece of content? But what if they love it? So we don't know unless you experiment, and not every piece of content is going to go viral. And not having a viral video or a piece of content or having one be lower isn't going to stop a brand from reaching out to you. It really just comes down to the consistency and what you can do to them and how well you can negotiate. And this comes down to confidence. So the more comfortable you are, the more your audience can connect with you, the more brands can connect with you, and it's a win-win for everybody. All right. The next thing that really helps attract brands is storytelling. So again, you have to remember everything we're doing is to post on social media, right? Every piece of content we create posts on social media and it attracts a brand or sorry, an audience. We are really talking to specific audience members. But really it also attracts brands because brands are people as well, right? They are companies. They negotiate. There's no emotions around negotiations a lot of the times, but when it comes to their social media team, they are basically you guys. It is a whole bunch of other content creators who work for companies who are reaching out to content creators. And this is, or at least not reaching out, but at least finding new content creators. So knowing this, you have to remember like it is a person who is looking for me. So again, if I stand out, they're more likely to put me in the pile because it goes well beyond how many subscribers or followers you have. Brands are kind of turning away from that because they found engagement way more powerful. So something that helps with that is weaving compelling narratives into your content. So how can you tell a story? And it doesn't have to be a vlog. It doesn't have to be just tips, right? But think about the concept that you are wanting to put together and how can you make that flow a lot better? And this can come from just sharing your experiences, challenges, your triumphs, giving tutorials and how-tos. Ed from Film Booth is actually really, really good if you're a how-to channel and you're thinking about like, how do I put 5 tips into a storytelling? He's really good at doing that. So it's not impossible. You can definitely do it. Another thing that helps is using emotion. So humor, anything that's relatable. Relatable situations really connect with your audience and they really connect with brands. So you definitely want to make sure that you are using all of the emotions, you are telling relatable situations. Even when it comes to advertising, like how can you make this ad relatable to your audience to where it doesn't feel like you're selling something to them, right? You're just sharing a product, sharing a solution. And this is because brands want creators who tell engaging stories and naturally showcase their products or services. So if you are, especially integrations, like we've all seen those videos, we've all probably created those videos where you're going about your video and then all of a sudden you're like, and today's video is sponsored by brands don't want that anymore because audiences don't want that. And if you look at your Insta, as soon as you say today's video is sponsored, they're going to skip over it. So you definitely want to make sure, how can you naturally do this to where when your audience is watching the video or the piece of content, it's like, I didn't even realize it was an ad until like you were basically done with the ad. That's what we really want. All right. And then again, the high quality branded content. So this helps content creators attract brands like moth to a flame, right? So what is it about the content that they love? Is it the unique spark? Is it the storytelling ability? Is it just the overall topic or like experience that you're sharing? And then how professional are you? And this goes in every aspect. How professional are you when it comes to the way that your accounts are set up, right? Or they don't have to be themed. You don't have to have a pattern. You don't have to have the same filter. But really, is it professional in the way of like, do you have a bio? Do you have your email address in your bio? This is a big one, so that they can contact you. And when they reach out to you, are you professional in communicating with them through DMs? Does your content have good lighting, good sound, and good editing? Does your content stay consistent and professional throughout? Are you advertiser friendly? This is a big one that really attracts brands. So like Disney isn't going to go to a creator who curses. But that, Death Wish Coffee may go to that same creator because that's their vibe and what they like and who they attract. So that's what we mean by ad friendly. You don't have to be PG-13 all the time, but you want to be ad friendly as far as understanding the vibe of the brand and what they like. So just look through their accounts, scroll and see, okay, are they very proper? Are they very professional? Are they younger or trying to attract a younger generation? Is cursing okay? Is it family content? What is it? So this way you're consistent across the board when it comes to your content, because the worst thing you can do is post something that goes against the brand and then you lose that sponsorship. And then again, seamlessly integrating the brand's message. So we don't want to say today's video is sponsored. We want it to be like, oh, I didn't realize that was an ad, right? Don't give it away right away. And the easiest way to do this is really think about your content that you have and how brands can fit into that versus trying to develop content for the brand. It's a lot easier to have a solid content strategy to where you're like, this topic does well, this connects with this product. I can easily put this in here and showcase how I use it today. But it doesn't matter if it's a blog, if it's tips, whatever type, short, long form content, you can integrate a brand's message seamlessly. You just have, it takes work, it takes practice, and of course, confidence and experimenting as well. And we kind of touched on this, but definitely research the brands that you admire. I call a hit list of brands that I want to work with. And I usually do it in January and I see like, okay, which brands do I want to work with this year? And I'll pick like 10 new ones. The reason I don't do a huge amount is because I focus on getting long-term partnerships. So I don't want to work with a brand once. I want to work with that brand for like the next year consistently. So definitely want to make sure like that dream brand list, you don't want to have it too big. These are those big brands that you feel like I've made it if I can work with this brand. So that's your dream brand list. So definitely research those brands that you admire. Again, see what type of content they're creating, see what topics they're talking about, see what products and services they have, what creators that they're partnering with, so you can get an idea of how campaigns work, who their audience is, read the comments, and not just that, but like create content for the brand before you get paid. This is definitely a way to attract brands, and tag the brand. Now, this doesn't mean go broke purchasing every product out there for every dream brand, right? Especially if you have expensive taste. But definitely make sure, like, if you have something from that brand right now in your home or in your possession, or you were going to get it anyways, feel free to get it and make content around it and show your audience that, hey, like, I love this product, I use it all the time, or I love the service, here's the reason why, this is what it helps me with. Tell that story and tag the brand. And then also keep those insights for social proof, because when you go to pitch the brand, if they don't reach out to you, you can definitely reach out to them and show, hey, I've actually mentioned you guys in the past on my profiles. Here's the insights. Here's how well the content did. My audience really resonates with it. I think partnering is going to be a perfect for us. Don't let the misconception of if you do something for free, the brand won't pay you for it. That's absolutely not true. Brands actually love seeing creators who have promoted them before they work together, because that's how their audience views it too, is this creator really loves and trusts this brand and this product because they've been talking about it for years before they were even paid for it. So that's how we want our audience to really feel. And again, another creator inside our community who's really good at this and just crossed over 100,000 and is now at 154,000 subscribers is Skilltree. They do amazing at integrating content into, products into their content for their audience to where it doesn't feel like an ad. It seamlessly goes into everything. I've seen the planning that they do. It does take a lot of planning to do this, but they are super consistent with just brand deals, their branding, their unique style, and their seamless integrations that it just continues to attract more brands. If you don't know, brands do speak, especially if they have like a talent agency that they're going through that's basically doing the work, like a third party company. I have know the same person who has gone to different talent agencies, and they've definitely recommended creators when they've gone to the new agency. So we don't want to have inconsistencies, because we may have somebody who loves you, and no matter where they go or work for, they're going to take you along with them per se. So you definitely want to have that consistency, so it makes everyone look good. All right, we'll get to questions in a second, but basically, you want to just embrace your unique spark. What makes you unique? What makes your voice unique? What makes your audience unique? And stay consistent with it. Stay consistent with the types of brands that you're working with. And that just basically means we don't want to see if you're a beauty guru, you're working with beauty brands, and then all of a sudden you have fishing equipment, and we're like, where did this come from? Unless you can show how to do your makeup with fishing equipment, that's probably the only way to seamlessly integrate that. But if it's hard to integrate and it doesn't work, or it just feels like tension and like hard just to even think about planning it, I probably would say pass on that brand until you feel comfortable and you can like revisit them again. But this is where you really want to just see like what makes you unique, separates you from everyone else in your niche, right? There's like over 100,000 YouTube channels. Like, what makes you stand out? There are 50,000 content creators who see themselves as professional. Like, what makes you stand out, right? There's a lot of people who do this. There's a lot of people who email brands every single day. So again, from your like bio, your about me section, your media kit, all your content to that first pitch email, make everything unique and authentic to who you are. And if you need help with any of this, we do have our Jumpstart Management. This is going to be great for creators who maybe aren't ready for full-time management, but are just getting a little bit too busy to do things on their own, especially if you're like a solo creator, right? You're doing all of this, the planning, the messaging, making the money, making the content, editing, everything's on your own. Having a little bit of help is definitely going to make things a lot easier for you. So if you have any questions on that, we'll have the link for you in the chat. You can check it out. There's a form that you fill out, and then if you qualify, you'll be contacted by our team. But any questions that I can help you guys out with? I think we are good. Okay, so let's get those links. So if you have questions or want to see if you qualify for the Jumpstart Management, that link is in the chat. Oh, there we go. And then let's see. Tommy says we have legit brands and organizations reaching out every week. Do you have suggestions on how to vet these requests without talking to every single one over a Zoom call? Tommy, yes. So you can once you figure out like these are legit like brands, you can do some research. I always do this, like Google the brands themselves and see like, okay, what does the response look like from people who have purchased, from other creators who have promoted. What is like, I go on Amazon, I look at reviews. Reddit is actually really good if you want to see like, is this brand like someone I can work with and trust and like good quality? Go to Reddit. They are honest about everything. But basically just go online and see like unbiased opinions about that brand to make sure it aligns. And then if you have gotten to a point where there's too many and you're like, look, I want to work with all 20 of these, but I can only do 10, This is where you tell the brand, like, I don't have any more room on my content calendar. And you'll see too, they'll start to negotiate. Basically, the demand becomes higher and you'll start to make way more money. But that's basically what I would do to vet brands is before jumping on calls is do a little bit of research on them first, and then decide, is this someone I want to move forward with? I have two different niches. Is it okay to run both on one page? This is a common question, and it really depends on what the niches are. For instance, I have two niches. One is lifestyle motherhood content, and one is this. So, like educational, like creator content. Those two did not make sense to me because my audience consisted of moms, not content creators. So I separated them and I made two different platforms. If it's consistent with your audience to where they're going to enjoy both and it's kind of like a subtopic, then yeah, you definitely can. Or if you can seamlessly put it together, again, this is where you can become unique and it makes sense to like put things together and it doesn't feel like you're pulling two different audiences. It's for the same people. So again, this is that audience connector. If it's like, I'm going to post this content and no one's going to listen to it, no. But if it's, it can seamlessly work together, then yes. Yeah, no problem, Tommy. But Maria, I hope that helps you. If you want to let us know what the niches are, we can probably answer better. But that's basically what I would say for anybody is what to think about when you are doing multiple niches or you feel like there's multiple topics on your accounts. Yeah, so for those mom products and RC car niche, definitely two different. And you can even have like you be the face of like the mom content and your husband's like the face of the other one. Especially if there's two different creators, then I would definitely separate that. But yeah, you're welcome. All right, guys, but I think that is it. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop those inside of our community. Which is where you're watching this right now. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll definitely have that in the description box below. But thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this really helps you out when it comes to attracting more brands. Again, it goes back to a lot of the basics, just getting those and that foundation under control, and then you'll just start to notice more and more brands flock to you. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see everyone later.